When we talk about breakups, we often start with reasons like, I was too tired, my feelings faded, or I couldn't hold on anymore. When we look closely, most of our decisions tend to center around ourselves, but when we step back and look at a relationship from a little distance, a breakup may not always be running away or failing. There are moments when the time we once spent giving strength to each other slowly turns into something that holds both of us in place. In those moments, it may be worth asking quietly whether holding on to the relationship is truly a choice made for both people. When we decide to leave, we often first ask ourselves, can I endure this any longer? But sometimes it is also worth asking whether staying in the relationship is helping the other person grow, or quietly limiting both of our possibilities. There are relationships that make us stronger when we are together, and there are relationships that slowly make us lighter, as if something within us is being worn away. If being together no longer supports each other, but instead becomes a weight that ties both of us down, letting go may not be abandonment, but a form of respect. One reason breakups feel especially painful is that many of them end without being fully understood. When someone leaves without explanation, or when a relationship ends like a sudden notice, the person who is left behind often carries unanswered questions for a long time. If we cannot understand why this breakup had to happen now, or why staying together was no longer good for either of us, the end of a relationship does not simply end. It turns into a wound that stays in the heart. Even in the moment of parting, what remains matters. Not words that tear each other down, but a gentle explanation of why walking separate paths may be the healthier choice. After a breakup, there are moments when the pain makes us want to go back. Watching someone we care about struggle can feel heavier than we expect. But holding on to the relationship simply to protect each other from pain can sometimes leave both people in deeper confusion. Some pain is not something to be avoided, but something each person must pass through on their own. In that process, we begin to look back at ourselves, and we come face to face with what we missed in the relationship. That time of pain can become, in its own way, a quiet form of learning. Breakups are painful for both people, but at certain moments, that pain also becomes part of growth. For you, and for the other person. When we think about our lives, we move naturally from elementary school to middle school to high school to university. No matter how precious one stage was, we cannot remain there forever. The moment we stay, growth comes to a halt. As we move up each grade, our classrooms change, and we naturally part ways with friends we once spent every day with. We meet new people, and we learn new ways of relating. After school, we enter society, another classroom of life, where we continue learning again. Relationships may be similar. Some connections may belong to a season of our lives, like an elementary school chapter of who we were. Others may walk with us through deeper growth, like later stages of learning. We may not always know which stage a person belonged to at the time, but what remains true is that each meeting itself was a lesson in our life. In that sense, some breakups are not a choice to give up on a relationship, but a natural transition into the next stage of life for both people. Just because someone leaves your side does not mean the time you shared was meaningless. Just because a person is no longer in your life does not erase the value of the connection you once had. That person may have been, in that season, one of the teachers your life needed. When relationships do not end with care, they often leave behind subtle emotional residue, unspoken apologies, gratitude that was never expressed, and resentment that was never released can quietly follow us into our next connections. But when, at the moment of parting, we can acknowledge what we were grateful for and accept calmly why we could not continue walking together, the relationship does not remain as a failure, but as a meaningful process in our lives. We may not be able to send someone away with a smile, but if we can reach a place where we no longer hold resentment in our hearts, that ending can become a knot that gently closes one chapter and allows the next to begin. Breakups often make us feel as though the relationship itself was a mistake. The fact that we could not continue together can linger as if we chose wrongly. But in certain teachings, a breakup is not seen as the failure of a relationship, but as a form of independence, a step into the next stage of life for both people. A breakup is not the failure of a relationship, but a form of independence for two souls to move into the next stage of their growth. Do not bind the other person to your side and keep them from growing. Let them go with blessing, so they may shine in a wider world. That, too, is a form of love. These words stayed with me for a long time. There are moments when holding on feels like love, but sometimes choosing to let go may carry a deeper responsibility. Perhaps at the moment of parting, it is worth asking quietly, is keeping this person by my side truly helping their life move forward? Or am I holding on simply to avoid facing my own loneliness?